Welcome to AstroTwins Radio, your cosmic GPS for life, love, and everything written in the stars. We're Tali and Ophira Edut, the AstroTwins, here to decode the astrology of the moment and help you navigate your destiny like a pro. Well, hey everyone, how's it going? It is the week of September 22nd to 28th. Equinox week is here. Eclipse season is over. Ooh, my God, can we bring back some balance? Everything's so off balance. My God. We're both in New York, though not in the same place right now. So how's everyone doing out there? Tali, personally have been sick for like a week and a half. I keep like trying to rally to, I've got to do a video about the eclipses. Oh my God. And then it's like, oh, I need to take a nap.
So Virgo, Pisces, I mean, these are the two signs that rule health and healing and, left brain, right brain. So if you, like Tali, have been needing more balance or just wanting to hold off, I mean, given how much uh, insane backlash there was with Jimmy Kimmel and everything else this week to people speaking freely. I mean, it truly was eclipse madness, mayhem, and gaslighting extraordinaire.
This has been so extreme. I mean, my God. Pisces eclipses are my least favorite. There's one more next year.
But this one also went hand in hand with Saturn backing into Pisces and Uranus turning retrograde. So those are pretty major events. And that's both immutable signs, Pisces and Gemini, Virgo and Pisces. The four mutable signs are Virgo, Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces. And those are the signs of communication. But it's also, if you think about mutation, changes, language, they're very communication based, but it can also be like, messing with your mind, using words to mess with people. So it's just been
Hypnotize and, illusions, the
it's been
master of
so
illusions.
hard to know what to say, what not to say. And, it's not always the question one thinks about when free speech has been touted as such a big deal, and certainly not in the way that people have started thinking about it. Again, always grateful to the comedians and the late night talk show hosts for daring to defy the authoritarian spread that's going on.
Not like it's really working, but we'll see what shakes out from all of this. What happens inside the crucible of the eclipse corridor can sometimes be undone. It's like there's a big, it's like I did an Instagram, the one I was able to muster one or two last week, and I was saying that that Billy Joel song, We Didn't Start the Fire, where he's like rambling off all those, cultural moments like, I don't know, Marilyn Monroe and all, it's like Richard Nixon, Studebaker television, North Korea, South Korea, Marilyn Monroe. That's the only part I can remember of it. But
I can't even remember that much.
but
I
it's like
remember the
there's been a whole,
song.
yeah, the song. It's like there's been we didn't, yeah, we didn't start the fire. It's like, and there's been so much blame shifting. No, you did it. No, you did it. But then what has been revealed, like this whole new lexicon, we talked about it a little bit last week too. It's like groypers. I mean, some people didn't even know who Charlie Kirk was. Now there's this whole furry culture, meme culture, trans maxing. I've had to look up so
So
many things.
Pisces.
Femboy, catboy, this whole underground subculture that's existed.
Stoicism, worshiping male
Greek,
sub cultures.
alt right. The thing that is
I feel
just, I
like the
think, where this
eclipse corridor could have been like its own Reddit
well, that's kind of
wormhole.
like the new vocabulary of Virgo, which is very, Mercury ruled, based on this like veil being lifted by the Pisces eclipse. But the thing is, what I think has been I think the biggest cognitive dissonance, it's been like 2 weeks of cognitive dissonance for sure, but where there's been some really big cognitive dissonance, it's just people aren't fitting neatly into boxes. It's like people can say, "Oh, Charlie Kirk really cared about free speech and he did indeed create, he did invite people into dialogue who he didn't agree with. Then did he manipulate his platform? Did he say hateful, horrible things? He really had a thing
I'm looking at it like
against,
as like a tactic. I've been really
sure,
thinking about like what does the left like forget about left
what's
and
left
right.
and
There
right.
are
Well, that's
so
what I'm
many
trying to
more
say here is that
directions.
that's
Yeah.
exactly the point I'm trying to make. It's like, wait, like nobody fits neatly who's a part of the storyline into a left or right box, and even the responses. And I'm hearing people on both sides complain exactly the same way against the other side. And
I think we can take things one level farther. What I have been trying to really do is look through the illusion, the veil of illusion that an eclipse leaves. Like, I think, yes, that a lot of people were like, oh, he was trying to do this and this was good, but then it wasn't good. Well, I'm not entirely sure about that now because I also thought that. And then I kept looking at it. I was like, it wasn't him per se that tipped me off. It's just what's left behind among the people. Like there is a movement with or without Charlie Kirk.
well,
There
his
is,
whole turning point,
yeah, I know. And there's a really strong movement of people who are unifying around something that is um it's low hanging fruit. It's easy to unify around hate, a common enemy, blame, and that kind of thing. And that's why, that movement is gaining so much speed and steam. So, because I've also been hearing like, oh, Democrats need to figure out how to do this. Democrats are losing everyone. It's like it's not just about Democrats and Republicans or left and right. It's like people who are on the side of inclusivity and humanity and bringing people together are feeling totally silenced because this is a
mm-hmm,
cult tactic that's happening. you know, he brought
so true.
lambs to slaughter basically up to the microphone in my observation. Like, come
I
in and
agree.
debate, but we're not really going to debate. I'm going to publicly humiliate you and strengthen my position by showing how wrong you are talking over you.
Well, there were some people, I mean, this Cambridge debate team, like people who kind of relished getting up there and debating with him, but it's not even about that. It's exactly like what has been revealed is that there are all these kind of cult of personalities with him, with Nick Fuentes, there's with the Manosphere, with MAGA, with RFK Jr. There's a lot of cult of personalities, which is very Saturn and
Yeah.
Pisces. And I was also thinking about Saturn and Neptune being in Aries too, like
Mm-hmm.
the weaponizing of faith that's going on, because a lot of this is tied in with these very Christian nationalist, practices, which I don't think is the same as Christianity at all, by the way.
I don't think that these places follow any Christian values whatsoever. So they're co opting the religion
well,
to,
they think they're being pious and religious by keeping women at home and trying to put some Handmaid's Tale version of the world out there. So here we are.
well,
Here we
love thy
are at
neighbor. I mean, all the 10 commandments. It's like just because you have Bible study groups that you use to get people into your flock doesn't mean you're actually living, the
it's
word
like
of God.
astrology. It's like anything. It's like how you interpret it. What you do with any information is
But
kind
maybe we
of
can learn from like literally I always go, let's go alien spaceship. Let's go 30,000 feet above and watch these earthlings doing this weird shit. And what are they doing? Okay, they're gathering people together in a moment of passion and emotion. Well, What can the people who are left out of, you know, radical left protests and radical right gatherings and campus concert, where are those of us who try to fall in the middle and just want to like share the frickin' planet with each other? What do we need to be brought into?
We need to go to more Dua Lipa concerts, really. That's
Which
what
is something that, yeah, yeah,
we
well,
did
yeah.
that last night in Madison Square Garden. We got to interview Dua Lipa for Elle on video last year, and she was really lovely and smart and funny and personable. And so we got to see her radical optimism show. Like some might
That's
say
kind of my kind
radical.
of radical. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it was just like she didn't say a single thing about politics, but she did say, Love, I love you, I love you. She came out, and walked around the crowd, took pictures with fans. People were freaking out. I was just like, but she was like emanating love. And that might sound a little like, spiritual bypassy in some ways,
Yeah,
but
but
it didn't feel that way at all.
she also
No.
came to New York City with her book club, Service 95, and set up a pop up, encouraging people to read
Mm-hmm.
open, mind opening books. And her amazing book club invited a few hand-picked people into the pop-up, and we got to go there and do readings for them and mingle and meet them and give them our book this past week too. And so she came with, I mean, to me, that was like she's almost like, I think of her as like, remember when Glinda, the good witch, comes down in The Wizard of Oz in her bubble with her
She's
magic
so
wand? Like,
Glinda.
Dua Lipa
Yes.
is like the Glinda of our times. Like, she comes with books and education and literacy and music and art and
And gold
fun,
boots.
gold boots and glitter and fun and glamour, because we need those things too. So, like, I'm always a big fan of like finding the things that are hiding in plain sight that actually are much more revolutionary. Like the people that I know who are good people and, on the side of humanity, like we've all felt a little weird because we're like, I had a really great summer and the world is terrible. I've heard that from a lot of people. But I think that in response to the overload of awfulness in the world, people have gathered with those that they feel are loving and nurturing and nourishing for them. And I hope if you're listening to this, you did have a great summer, no matter what. Do not let authoritarians take your joy.
Do not, do not. And let's just also talk a little bit about Libra season being that sort of time to bring in love. Libra's ruled by Venus. We're in a Venus ruled month here. And, so love, connection, harmony, peace, balance. Those are the glittery, sparkly, pretty energies. But, even beauty and it's, making art, creating beauty, creating music, listening to music. Those things change us on a cellular level. And, so I think that we always have access to beauty. We just have to step outside sometimes. We can find beauty in things that are considered ugly, like a peeling paint wall or a patina. There's always, and I do think that that's important. It's important to feed that into our systems too. Back on the eclipse, so just on a little bit of an astrological note, this eclipse was more loaded than a baked potato at TGI Fridays and we're going to be feeling that. So,
Yeah.
this week we do have Libra season starting. We have Mars, the planet of war, moving into Scorpio, one of its home signs, and squaring Pluto, the god of the underworld. That's going to be a little intense. Um, and the sun is going to be opposite Neptune, trine, Uranus, trine Pluto. So we have some action happening, but all of this is coming off the springboard of Sunday's eclipse, Sunday's Virgo partial solar eclipse, which is at 29 degrees, 29 degrees Virgo, the very last degree. It's called the anaretic degree, and it's kind of the crisis point of a sign. It's like that's one of the things it's called. And we are. I mean, if you just scroll through your news feed, you will see that we have hit for sure a crisis point in the world right now. It's but this is also the second consecutive new moons of the two new moons in Virgo, which there's two this year. Usually only have one per sign. So there was one on August 23rd, the first day of Virgo season, and now we have another one on the final day on September 21st, the very last degree. So we're kind of finishing up. We're this has been like an extended sort of launch pad runway for whatever you got going a month ago. Maybe it was wellness goals, fitness. I started working out with a trainer at the first new moon, and then I'm like sick at the second one, but we're picking up again on Zoom this week. It was just, we did a deep clean of our apartment in New York City, like very much like anything that needs to be tended to, better self-care, anything like that. Being of service to the people, reading the facts, learning what's going on, learning about what's happening behind the scenes. So that's not all. This eclipse also is forming some really important angles with other planets. It's forming a kite. So a kite is it's shaped like a kite. It's a grand trine, and an opposition and a minor grand trine. So for the astro geeks out there, a grand trine is considered fortunate or lucky, but I kind of think of it as like there's no off switch. So there's like a free flow of energy between this 29-degree Virgo sun and moon, and then that's trine Uranus and Gemini, retrograde in Gemini, and Pluto and Aquarius. So, like, what is going on with the misinformation, the politics, community, lawmakers, what the heck? And then it's opposite Saturn and Neptune. So the weaponizing of faith happening, the twisting of words, just structures that seemed so solid seem to be just going under in these very weird ways. Then there's also a yod being formed. A yod being formed, which is the finger of fate, this kind of karmic point with Venus and Mars. Where is the love?
Summed up in a couple of words. Yeah.
No
Like,
wonder I'm feeling so crappy today. It's almost like, I don't know. I feel like I'm like have a little bit of a spiritual flu here. It's been rough. I don't know if you have any words on this, but
well, anyone who's listening who's even a little bit of an empath or highly sensitive person, like it's been another low. I mean, seeing a gold statue of Donald Trump with a Bitcoin in hand. Speaking
oh
of
my God.
biblical, I have a few clients who are and devout Christians, Muslims, Jews, and not in the way that is being cosplayed by certain people in this world. And I have one client that about a year ago, he asked me like what I was seeing. And I said, just, our mom is a rabbi. So we did have to learn, the Old Testament stories as kids. And I said, I feel it. I feel a golden calf era. If you know the story of Moses
Mm-hmm.
when he went up to get the Ten Commandments and his brother Aaron had everybody melting their gold and making them into a calf and worshiping a golden calf. And that the metaphor of that story um, is that we're worshiping a false god or creator instead of finding the highest divine order. So whatever you may believe or not, I bet you never thought you'd hear Bible talk on an astrology podcast, but I mean, hey,
Well,
those
why not?
those three, the
The
Magi
astrologer.
followed Orion's belt, the three stars. the wise
You can be
men.
religious and be into astrology, there's no conflict of
Absolutely.
interest. I mean, if you believe in a God and the universe, then why aren't the stars included in that creation? There's yeah, Monday is not to use the is a turning point, not to use that, it's
So many
hard to use
phrases
that
you can't
phrase
use.
now, but we do have Libra season beginning, and Mars, the very same day, leaves Libra. So Mars, the planet of war, has been in this weakened fall position in Libra. So diplomacy has been pretty AWOL. I mean, it's like, remember that red
Since
carpet that was
August
rolled
6th.
out by for Putin in Alaska, and since he's flown into airspace of all these other countries, he's just, continuing to just warmonger. Netanyahu's continuing to warmonger. Both of them are Libras, by the way.
They're
Oh yeah, that was
Libras.
something we didn't
Yeah.
also that was I people probably have heard this, but this blew my mind that Charlie Kirk and George Floyd are born on the same day. So there was a big now they're making October 14th into this huge national day of remembrance for Charlie Kirk, and people have been pointing out the fact that George Floyd's birthday is also October 14th. So why not have a day of remembrance for both, since they, both in their own way did sort of represent these,
People who
they
died of violent acts that were the result of political divisiveness.
didn't you say Gavin Newsom and Peter Thiel of the
They're
same
born
birthday? They're also
exactly one day
Libras.
apart in 1967. They're both Libras with Capricorn moons. Gavin Newsom is on 1010, Peter Thiel's 1011. And
Same year.
same year,
Wow.
1967. They're both in their Saturn returns. They both have, yeah. Peter Thiel's a 29-degree Capricorn moon on that anaretic degree. No surprise there.
Interesting.
So
Interesting. Well,
yeah,
I think, it's always nice when Mars leaves Libra because it just feels like it just puts this like, clamp down on peace and diplomacy. However, Mars and Scorpio can be very furtive, and the fact that Mars and Pluto are the two rulers of Scorpio, and they're squaring each other this week
mm-mm.
on Wednesday. So a square is when two planets form this 90-degree angle and they challenge each other. So Mars and Scorpio, I mean, it's there.
It's
How long is Mars?
intense.
How long is
They're
Mars and
until
Scorpio?
November 4th. So
November
yeah,
4th, yeah.
Mars and Pluto are both the rulers of Scorpio. Before Pluto was discovered in 1930, Mars was considered the ruler. So it's what's called the classical ruler of Scorpio. So we've got extra intense Scorpio energy. Mars is kind of like in your face aggression, and Pluto like comes up from the back or underneath aggression. So there's a lot of, so do be careful this week and be careful about the kind of conflicts you enter into. Um, there could be quite a lot of that going on,
Even more, I
even
know it's
during
like
Libra
Mars and
season.
Scorpio is vengeful, and MAGA is definitely on the hunt right now. They're feeling very emboldened, very empowered. And, we're not trying to scare you here or silence you either. I mean, this is just what's so terrible right now. It's just like, I mean, they're doing these huge dramatic things to create fear, but it's just the fact that there are no breaks on them, that's kind of like this kite formation of this 29-degree eclipse. It's like the energy is flowing with Uranus and Gemini, which and Pluto and Aquarius, which I think of like these tech oligarchs. And there's just some deal made when Trump was with King Charles in the UK. There's
Oh
just
yeah, that
a
whole
lot of
thing was
these
so
specs
bizarre.
and the dinners with all the tech gazillionaires. I also read that billionaires are quietly buying up all this farmland. Bill Gates is, Warren Buffett is like, what are they doing? They go and there's a great, he has millions of followers now, but I just came across Ren Gill. He's a Welsh uh rapper, singer, musician, kind of savant, and he has a great track about like just how the whole corporatism happens, and yeah, he's just like this. He's an Aries, I think March 28th or
Yeah.
29th. Yeah,
Yes.
super
I
just
know. Such an
raw.
Aries. Yeah.
Yeah, I love he
I
had
love I
one.
was like, wow, he's really talented and amazing. What is his thing about how business works and
Oh
about
yeah,
money, the seashells song.
oh
We'll
yeah,
have
the
to like try to find the link to that.
she sells seashells. I sound like Cindy Brady by the seashore.
Yeah.
For all our 70s friends out there. Yeah, I mean it's we're gonna find out. I think that Mars and Scorpio is gonna like come
Oh
for
my
all like
God. I never believed I would say this, but I miss Pluto and Capricorn. Hamilton and the likes of that. This okay, I just went on the New York Post, which is a hazard in and of itself, but it's
yes,
always there.
why? Yeah.
This headline, it's the real headline, is a summary to me of what Mars and Scorpio square Pluto is. Erica Kirk reveals she wears husband Charlie's blood-stained pendant that was ripped from his neck as he died. Like,
Ripped from his neck by who, you know?
I don't even know, but I'm like, it's a grieving widow, Erica Kirk. It was a pendant of Saint Michael that he was wearing when he was. It's just the
That's
narrative
some
here is
Scorpio
so.
that she
She is
is.
a Scorpio. Oh boy, we're going to be hearing from her a lot. So brace yourselves for the revenge tour there.
Oh
That's
my
come
God.
the avenging of her husband's death.
Mm.
Microphone that is going to be. It's
Yeah. Yeah, Serena Joy is really on a tear right now. I gotta say,
my friend who's very successful in corporate America, African American gay man. Um, his parents say, who are also, like very successful too in that world. They said to him, well, look, we survived segregation in the South. This too shall pass. Now, I don't know if it will or not, knowing what I know about the stars in 2027 in human design being this, I'm not going to say turning point. I need a new phrase,
yeah.
um, but yeah, people who have been through racism, segregation, anything like this are,
This is not
grew up in another
new.
country with an authoritarian leader are like, yeah, that's how it works. That's what
Well, the
happens.
system has never been, fair for all people. And certainly, the darker your skin, the more unfair in this country. And, that's not a surprise at all. I will say, I mean, I don't know what Libra season is going to bring. The equinox is here, it means equal night, day and night. Will a more balanced perspective emerge again? Because it's been so extreme. I just don't think, I don't know, like, how long, I mean, the margins keep getting pushed. It's like, let's throw a, I mean, our what we've had to normalize and what we've not had to, but we have just maybe our brains are, it's like we were talking about this last week too, how we, Trump as a child went to the power of positive thinking
Let me look
guy.
oh yeah, I've been listening to that book, The Cult of Trump by Stephen Hassan. And what I learned about his background, Norman Vincent Peale,
I
is
think he was
kind
a
of
Gemini.
power of positive thinking.
Yeah, he had
But
a church and it was kind of like
it was a non-religious church that taught hypnosis, like basically
taught
like mind
hypnosis and
control and kind of hypnosis techniques and thought stopping things that are used in cults now. But look, it's such a fine line because we're all a product of that. Like there's this the human mind can go in a lot of places. There is something healthy to a certain point about being able to recognize when your thoughts are not, recognize that your thoughts are not who you are, and be a little bit, find separation from your thoughts.
But I don't think
And
that's how it worked with that. It was like, think positive, block out all negative thoughts. And then, it's just like, we have the greatest ballroom. We have this,
oh
we
yeah, it
have,
was more
just,
like the
it's like that
secret kind
grandiose.
of
Yeah.
stuff.
It's
Mm-hmm.
like where you just, that it's like no
Manifesting.
one
I mean,
can
it's what people
believe the
do.
way Trump will tell a lie as if it's so true. But I think that's where he was trained to, you
Mm-hmm.
say what the future is, even if it's not in alignment with the actual future. And then you just keep speaking it and speaking it until it becomes so, which,
Apparently Trump's father used to make him repeat, "You're a killer," like, or would repeat to him, or would say, "You're a killer, you're a king, you're a killer, I mean, like, what the actual? And yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's just, anyways, there's been a lot of power of positive thinking, hype being infiltrated. But it's like, here we are in Libra season, but we're already starting to, I mean, the diplomatic brouhahas are already starting to kick up. Palestine has been recognized as a state now by the UK, Canada, and Australia. Netanyahu is saying that they're giving Hamas a prize. I just can't imagine how this is going to go down with the Mars Pluto square this week, like the power struggles of Mars and Pluto, the vindictiveness of
Ooh.
Pluto with the aggression of Mars and this clash. And Pluto's vindictiveness in Aquarius is coming out through these subcultures, these very Aquarian, like I was like we were saying, the Groypers, the people who the alt-right, the people who defy categorization in a mainstream context, and I don't know. I think there's just going to be more shock and awe coming this week. So we're not out of the
Mm-hmm.
eclipse woods
No.
quite yet at all. Keep cleaning, keep just clean your space. I don't know, maybe I'm like, how a bird, I feel like my inner bird nature has spun up where I'm like, let me just go grab some straw and branches and newspaper and just bring it back to the nest and just make the nest secure and batten down the hatches here. Like my female survival instincts are like going like you know
Mm-hmm.
I'm
It's
wearing
just,
Ophi out. Ophi's like, oh my God, I don't want to look through another box. But thank God. But don't you feel better now, though?
yeah, I just didn't want to be the one to do it. We are
Yeah.
different, as we are not the same as twins. Well, one of us will like go in and do the thing, and then the other one has to be dragged
I
in.
was the
I tend to do that more.
diagnoser.
You do that more in like the 3D physical world. I'll do that more in my computer screen with like,
Yeah.
but I don't know. We switch
I
off
ran I
that
ran
too.
some 3D diagnostics while I was not feeling well. Anytime I had a burst of energy, I was like,
In other words, she started online shopping for furniture, but yeah,
but I didn't buy it. Yeah, I did
which is
clean out
fine.
first. Yeah, I know. You gotta have something to look forward to. It's the power of positive thinking, right? Our apartment will be, gilded in gold. Just
I
kidding.
mean, as we're recording this, we're like an hour out from the eclipse. There, and Charlie Kirk's funeral is underway in a stadium with more than 200,000 people, with Trump and Vance both speaking. So here's what here's where I am left at this eclipse moment. We can't imitate that. Those of us who are in the humanity pod here, look at these 200,000 people who are there seeing someone that I saw as like a spreader of hate,
Mm,
powerful organizer of people, but a spreader of hate.
mm,
Um, 200,000 people are worshiping this person's death,
wild.
life. Like, we have got to like be like, what is that? What is going on psychologically? Last week we read like from the Adult Children of Alcoholics book about the family system in a family where there's a person who has an addiction at the core, at the helm or at the core, and how everybody ends up playing different roles. Like this is this is an undeniable, tangible result of something that's going on. So you can try to fight it and dismantle it, and you can also try to create a counter movement that isn't based on anger, hate, and rage too, because we have that in every way everywhere, and people have valid reasons that they feel angry. But is someone preying on their emotions, pushing their emotional buttons, teaching them fear? In the beginning of the year, when we did our vision board workshop, we talked about this being the year of the snake, which happens every 12 years. So, and we looked at 1965 as a snake year,
A
the
wood
last
snake.
the last
Yeah.
wood snake year, 60 years ago. Well, that was when Malcolm X was assassinated. We had the Selma to Montgomery marches.
The
Let
Watts riots. Yep.
Yeah, Martin Luther King. We had Bloody Sunday, which was the attack on the bridge as people were marching. Hundreds of activists, led by John Lewis, tried to protest voting discrimination. They tried to march, and as
But
they reached a bridge, they were attacked by police. So tear gas and everything else. So it was such a divided time.
what's so disturbing about the current iteration of that is that there's nothing that this is for. Like
Well,
that was for
exactly.
people's actual civil rights. Now this is just this performative insanity that's trying to, you know, brand these, the majority, the people who are privileged and in power as the
As
victims.
the
It's white
victims.
nationalism, it's white supremacy, it's Christian nationalism, and it's also a huge grift to turn people away from all the money that Trump is pocketing, to turn people away
The
from
Epstein
the Epstein
files.
files. It's
It's just
what.
amazing also to watch how easily people can just it makes me scared of how easy, like, if I've learned anything from 2025, it's that human beings are really freaking easy to manipulate, apparently,
And
en masse.
religion can prime people to be manipulated by, a cult figure because it's like, toe the line, be obedient,
And this week we've got Mercury, which is your rational thought and mind and processing of information, opposite Neptune, which is deception, false gurus, fog
this
in Aries.
weaponization of faith, the Neptune and Aries is just beyond. It's like, just, even in our own in Israel, what's happening there, it's like there's no division, the religious, the ultra religious, who believe that they can just grab land wherever they want, that
Right.
they're entitled
The
to it.
settlers, yeah, they're like, no, this is what it's that manifest destiny mindset. I'm still working my way through a paper I wrote in 1992 with comparing and contrasting
Yeah,
Zionism,
you gotta
manifest
bring that
destiny, and
on.
Pan-Africanism. I've got to pull it out again, and I got caught up in some other projects, and I was like, oh my god. But it's what I really learned from rereading, and I remember what captivated my attention at age 20 when I wrote it, or 19, was just that there are anytime you try to bring people together in a nationalist way, um, it can create dogma. If you don't respect the rights of people who are already there, or have other belief systems. If your goal is to create a safe space for people, that is a positive goal who do not have rights. But if you take away the rights of others in order to do that, if you suppress someone else, the hypocrisy and the double standard, it's like we need to move into a world that doesn't make that okay. It's like, oh, I'm going to
Mm,
conveniently
well
sweep
said.
that under the rug to get what I want. No, you're not. And that's what, this golden calf metaphor is, we're tired of walking through the desert. So let's just stop and worship a golden Bitcoin calf, and might as
Or
well be a
believe all
calf for
this
all the Big
hype
Macs he
from
eats, I hear. So
yeah, and all the hype from RFK. I mean, that's the fear, the manipulation around this fear. Oh, you're taking our country away, or people are trying to poison you with the mRNA vaccine, or just like, it's not hard to prey upon people's fear, but I'd like to believe in the wheel of karma that will catch up with people. Right now it might seem like they're really getting away with this. They're really, but there's, if I don't watch the news for a couple days, which I kind of had to do for, when I was sick, it was like you have normal interactions with human beings. You're not having someone constantly gaslight, manipulate, scare you, drive up fear. But if you're around that enough, it starts to overtake and turn into make you obsessed. And your mind, people are literally trying to fuck with our minds. Like they know they're doing it. They're consciously doing it. And that's I think what we all have to get better at kind of assessing for ourselves in this Pluto and Aquarius era, this Uranus and Gemini era. There will be a lot of mind fuckery going on in the
mm-hmm.
second half of the decade. So it's like, how? I don't even know how to protect and shield your field in this because it's moving. We learned how to do that in like a, oh, heart hug kind of way, but how do you protect your mental field when people are actually trying to implant your brain with Neuralink and transhumanist things? It's like protect your brain, everyone. Protect your brain. I don't know. Is that a good ending for this week? Because it's yeah.
Yep. Well, I'm scanning through this New York Post article, and I just hit on something that is something to note. A handful of protesters were spotted outside the stadium and cordoned off free speech zones. Like, is that what we've come down to now? Free speech zones. Well, at the end of this eclipse corridor, like, what even is free speech? We know what it is and we know what it isn't. And,
We've
you know,
never had free speech 100%. There's never
no.
been. There's always been. You did a great article on LinkedIn this week about when I years ago, as a 17-year-old, entered a contest at the legendary Sassy magazine. We've talked about this before. That was one of our seminal moments. I wound up winning this contest, this reader produced issue contest where I got to go and replace the art director Neil, and they brought in readers to take over the job of each of the staff members. So it was really cool about Sassy. It was a breakthrough in that regard where it was much more like it was a predecessor to today's blogs. It would be no big deal now, but our teen magazine experience in the 80s was that you would read an article by so and so, and this person felt like this distant writer, but Sassy would write as if they were like your best friend. Well, not like just an influencer now, but that was groundbreaking then. So we loved that very candid, voicey, opinionated, feminist, teen style, like edgy style that it has. So it was a big deal to win that. And one of my jobs was assembling the cover. And I picked a black model and a Filipino model to be on the cover. And we were asked by the publisher, not the editorial staff. They were great. You know, Jane Pratt and Kim France, Andrea Lynette, Christina Kelly, legendary. Shout out to all of them. Marjorie Ingle. But yeah, we were asked to put a blonde-haired, blue-eyed woman on the cover who happened to be super smart, Jody. She was the managing
Hmm.
editor
Yeah.
of the reader-produced issue. She looked like Michelle Pfeiffer. I mean, she was gorgeous, you know, but it was just like the fact that we had to put her in, and there was no veiling it. They were like, this will alienate the readership in the South and our advertisers. I won't name names, but there were some cosmetic companies would maybe pull out their ads. It was like,
So
what?
crazy.
And I mean, it didn't make any sense to me then, but I was like, that was like a, okay, this is real. Like they're actually, it was in 1991, but it was like you're actually bold-faced saying it. And here we are again, you know. It's just literally
Hmm.
it's like the more something changes, the more it stays the same, which is why independently owned businesses, why we don't take investors, why we work
I think
our
it was
asses
Joy
off, but
Reid
if
or
the
someone who said
joyfully,
that
yes.
independent media is going to become more
More,
important than
oh,
ever. And
everyone's saying that now.
yeah,
Don Lemon, the I've had it pot. It's like Midas touch. Like no one's gonna trust. I mean, that's just one of the things that fascists do. They undermine your trust in the media. But fascists during social media era, well, they're gonna try to, you know, now
they've got
they're
an
poking
algorithm.
around in your social media and firing you if you people have gotten fired now about over Charlie Kirk for speaking the truth about the fact that he was, you know, a
Just reciting a
racist.
fact of
And
things he
he said
said.
he
Yeah.
he believed in public executions after, you know, and didn't believe in
Oh my God.
empathy. I mean, it's just anyways, I'm sure everyone's
We've all
brains
heard that. And
hurt up from this already.
TGIE. Thank God it's an eclipse ending. I'm like out of my. I couldn't even go with the letter.
TGILS. Thank God it's Libra season. Honestly,
Yeah.
can
Thank
this?
God it's the equinox. That's what we'll say, not the
Oh
eclipse,
yeah,
because it's
yeah.
following on the
Some
heels. Yeah, we need
balance.
that
Some.
balance. So
Oh,
this
do we
week,
ever?
let there be balance. And, just for what we have to offer you guys, we have our 2026 horoscope books, which are ready to be ordered. astrostyle.com/2026 horoscope. I
And
should
yes,
say
there are things
pre-ordered.
to look forward to next
There are the
year.
year of the unbridled spirit, the fire horse. We got some great video footage of Dua Lipa last night singing one of her new songs with this fiery horse charging behind her. And we were
That was
like, oh my God,
amazing.
this is
I was like,
the
Ophi, get that, get that.
yeah, and I was like, this is basically a performative display of the unbridled spirit here. So we'll share that. So the books are not ready yet, but pre-order to get in line. We have our manifestation bundle that come with an awesome tote and crystal. Get your gifts ordered early.
And if you're
Uh,
someone who likes to have a yearly planner, we have our individual sign guides that have calendar pages in them as what, you know, for and divided up by month, so you can read all the monthly hotspot dates, the key dates, and
and
your
really
signs.
track and really
Yeah,
track. So if you and also we do have a corporate and bulk order for 10 or more orders program. So if you're in, there's a link on that page to get to it, but like amazing gift for friends, book clubs, teams, departments. People love ordering them for their teams, and then they all have the planner for the year. It's just such a unique gift. So we want to make that available early for you to get that in time for the holidays and order up as many as we can ahead of time so that yours get there.
we'll be doing our cover reveal in the next, I want to say this week, I think I'm feeling better to get back on social
With
media.
Mars and Scorpio, it's a good time for a
Lordy,
proper
lordy. Well, it's our
reveal.
Mars return, so we've got Mars and Scorpio, which I appreciate having. I think it gives me that, you
Mars in
know,
Libra has historically
indefatigable energy.
been a kind of a just Mars is a planet of war, Libra's a sign of peace. It's just they don't go great together. That's why it's in fall there. So fall, a different kind of fall, autumn. Not ready for that, but ready for the balance. And we know you are too. So we'll see you next week. And if you want to book a reading, I think we still have a few spots left this fall. We'll put the link there too, astrostyle.com/readings. And we will see you in Libra season. Good
All
luck with
right.
that eclipse. May it be fruitful for
Ooh.
you.
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to AstroTwins Radio. If today's episode gave you an aha moment, we'd be over the moon if you left us a 5-star review. It helps fellow astrology lovers find us. And make sure to hit subscribe and follow us on iTunes and Spotify so you never miss an episode. Want the full visual experience? You can also watch the video version on our YouTube at AstroTwins-TV. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at AstroTwins and head over to astrostyle.com to read your free daily, weekly, and monthly horoscope that we write for you with love. Until next time, move with intention and let the universe meet you there.